Section 3 talks about inscribed angles. For inscribed angles, we have a couple different theorems. The first one that is mentioned in your note sheet is that the measure of the angle is always half the distance of the arc measurement. So my angle measurement is 24 degrees. So now I'm going to be finding the measure of the arc. So in order to do that, all I have to do is multiply by 2. So the angle is always smaller than the measure of the arc. So 24 times 2 gives me a total of 48. So the measure of my arc measurement here is 48 degrees. Now picture 2 gives you the exact opposite. I started with the arc measurement and I'm finding the angle. So instead of multiplying by 2, now I'm dividing. So whenever I'm finding the angle, I have to divide. So 88 divided by 2 gives me a total of 44. So A is equal to 44 degrees. Now for picture 3, same concept, they've just given me a little bit less information. So I know the measure of these two. These two are arcs. I need to find the measure of this arc so that I can find the measure of angle A. So I know that a whole circle has 360 degrees, so I'm going to subtract 96 and I'm going to subtract 90 to find the measure of my arc. So 360 minus 90 minus 96 leaves me a total of 174. So 174 is my arc measurement. Now I need to divide that by 2 to find my angle. So angle A has a measure of 87 degrees. Also mentioned in section 3, your theorem says that if you have a quadrilateral inscribed inside the circle, that opposite angles are supplementary. Supplementary means that they add up to be 180 degrees. So in order to find the measure of angle A, I need to take 180 and subtract 98. So 180 minus 98 gives me a total of 82. So the measure of angle A is 92 degrees. Now it doesn't ask me for the measure of the angle across from 76. However, that is going to help me here in just a minute. Now before I do that, I want to find the measure of arc B. If you notice that arc B is contained within angle A, and I have a portion of the arc measurement that goes with A already is 34. So to find the measure of B, I'm going to take 92 and multiply it by 2 to get the total arc distance, and then subtract 34. So 92 times 2 gives me 184. So 92 times 2 gave me 184. And now I'm going to subtract 34 from that so that I can find B. So B has a value of 150. Now the last piece that I need to find is the measure of arc C. So if you notice in arc C, that is contained, so I'm going to erase this because I don't need this information right now. Arc C is contained within angle 76. So I'm going to say 76 times 2 gives me a value of 152. So this whole arc here has a measure of 152, and I'm going to subtract 84 from that. So minus 34 gives me a value of 118. So I have A, which should have been 82, and I wrote that as 92. So let's fix that. That should be 82. So that's going to change our answer for B. But anyway, our answer for C is still going to be the same. So our answer for C should be 118. So let's go back and fix our answer for angle B since I goofed up there. So when I subtracted, it gave me 82. I wrote 92. So that messed us up a little bit. So let's go back and fix that. So here I should do 82 times 2. So 82 times 2 gives me 164. So let's fix this for B. So notice that I'm not redoing my video because we all make mistakes and you need to learn how to fix your mistakes. So that's why I'm going to keep this part in here so that you can see what we need to do to make sure we go back and make our correction. So 82 is here. 82 times 2 gives me 164. So I'm still finding B, so let's erase that because that's not 150. So now I need to say 64 minus this 34 piece here. So minus 34 gives me 130. So my measurement here is 130 degrees for B. Okay, now problem number 8 is very similar. However, you also have to notice that in picture 8 I've been given a diameter. So a diameter cuts my circle in half. So if I know this piece is 74, I can find the other piece of this by saying 180 minus 74. I like to go through and find all my information that I need first, or any information that I can, before I start actually solving the problem. So this is 106. Okay, so if I want to start with A first, notice that A's ending, so both ends of A, are on the diameter. So that means that this whole arc here is 180. Half of 180 gives me 90. So A has a value of 90 degrees. So next I can find angle B. Angle B, which is here, uses this 106. So I'm taking half of 106 to get the arc measurement here of 53. The last piece I need is the measurement of C. So in order to find C, I need to find the measure of this arc here so that I can subtract from 180 because this is the last piece. So 40 times 2 gives me 80. So in order to find C, I'm saying 180 minus 80. Now the reason I'm using 180 is because notice that my circle has been cut in half. I said 40 times 2 to get this portion. So the last portion here I'm going to subtract from 180, which leaves me with 100. So C has a value of 100 degrees. Now for picture 9, you have a triangle, and notice that all of your sides of your triangle are congruent. So that means all of my angles are going to be congruent. So the angles of a triangle add up to be 180 degrees. 180 divided by 3 gives me 60. So I know the measurement of B is 60 degrees. And A is right across from 60, which is an arc measurement across from my angle. So 60 times 2 tells me that A is 120 degrees. Now also notice that for some of these I didn't go in order and find A, B, and C in that exact order. A, B, and C are just a way to label the pieces. It does not mean that you have to find them in that order. Now, the last theorem that we talked about in section 3, you have your picture here with your tangent and your chord that meet. However, I'm still using the same rule. So notice that my chord is here, and then my arc is here, and my angle is formed by this chord and this tangent. So I'm still going to take 112 and divide it by 2 to get my solution for my angle. So my angle is going to be 56 degrees. Now the last part here, angle B, you can find it two different ways. You can notice that angle A and B are on the same straight angle. So I can say 180 minus the 56 that I just found gives me a total of 124. So that was A. B has a value of 124 degrees. The other thing you can do is, since I know that this is 112, I can say 360 minus 112 because a whole circle has 360 degrees. I have a portion of it. I'm only missing this part. Gives me 248. 248 divided by 2 gives me the same 124. So it doesn't matter which way you solve it, you're still going to get the same answer. So you may have to use these theorems in a couple of different methods in order to find your correct solutions. All of your theorems are listed in your note sheet for section 3.